On July 1st, 1967, on the Las Vegas Strip between the Dunes Hotel and Casino, an attorney from New York named Larry Wolf had opened a small 160-room hotel and casino named the Bonanza. The property was heavily themed off of an old western town, chosen after Wolf moved to Vegas and was unhappy to see that the majority of western-themed casinos on the Strip were being replaced with other themed ones. The building was situated in between two now demolished motels, the Three Coins Motel, which opened on 1967, and the Galaxy Motel, which opened in 1966. Three Coins Motel had its lobby demolished to make way for part of the hotel and casino, and part of it was used as lodging. Its grand opening ceremony was by invite only, and held many different stars inside the casino, including jokes, singing, and all kinds of music. The Bonanza was home to all kinds of entertainment, such as a theater, the Opera House Showroom, which screened many classic movies, the Boot Hill Bar, and the Coral Lounge. Plans were being made on an expansion that would push the hotel and casino to have a wider variety of entertainment, and an increased room count of over 1,000 with the addition of a new high-rise tower. However, due to financial issues that were beginning to plague the hotel and casino, plans had never come to fruition. Speaking of which, financial problems were plaguing the resort so much that just a few months after the grand opening, the casino part of the Bonanza had to completely close. Kirk Kerkorian, an Armenian-American investor who would later be known for building the International Hotel and Casino just a year later, would buy the struggling Bonanza in late 1968. The ownership would not last long, however, and he later leased the hotel and casino to a group of investors. 1969 would be a bit of a surprise for the Bonanza, as the hotel, now known as the New Bonanza, had decided to reopen its casino once again, as well as extend the casino area into a lounge. Meanwhile, Kerkorian, although no longer owning the casino, was not done with it. In fact, he had several plans on what he wanted to do with the New Bonanza, and to start, he purchased the film-making giant Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, or simply MGM. And this was the start of a journey of what would become the first ever MGM-owned hotel and casino. MGM during Kerkorian's ownership was definitely in a slump during that time. Many of the films that were being created were considerably poor, and behind the scenes, many of what he was doing with the employees were harsh. Kerkorian would often exploit many parts of the casino for his own personal gain, which was what he did for his plans to build a new hotel and casino in the city of Las Vegas. In 1969, he opened the International Hotel and Casino, a property that would later become the home of Elvis Presley and many future attractions, most notably Star Trek The Experience. While his actions were definitely poor and oftentimes despicable at MGM, his work in the casino industry was a completely different story. The International would become a huge success for many reasons. Of course, you had Elvis Presley, who was a huge celebrity during his time, but you also had the fact that it was the largest resort and casino in the world at the time, which made for a huge variety of entertainment, attractions, dining options, and all sorts of things to do at the casino area. So with all this, it wouldn't be bad for him to build another casino, and rightfully he did. A new resort and casino had been thought up as a dream for Kerkorian himself. The new hotel and casino would not only be a luxury mega resort, but it would also be one that could be the flagship property for MGM as a whole. Looking back to Las Vegas, the New Bonanza, despite reopening its casino and other areas, had been in such a disastrous state that the property had declared bankruptcy. He chose this as a perfect opportunity on where he could put his new resort, mainly because it was located right in the middle of the Las Vegas Strip's most iconic casinos, including the Flamingo, which he also owned at the time, and Caesar's Palace just across the street. Kerkorian would end up buying the New Bonanza once again in 1971, despite having problems with land usage with the previous owner, Ernest Lieb, and at that moment, plans had already begun for his new resort. It was to be called the MGM Grand, a callback to the 1932 movie Grand Hotel. The resort and casino would contain 2,100 rooms and suites, containing all sorts of showrooms like the Lion's Den, the Ziegfeld Room, and the Celebrity Room, along with many different celebrities, all with a predicted cost of $100 million. A groundbreaking ceremony of the casino resort was held on April 15, 1972, that included a champagne party and multiple Hollywood celebrities including Cary Grant and Janet Leigh, along with Raquel Welch, who actually held a significant part of the ceremony. During the ceremony, she would set off a dynamite that would explode into a large barrage of multiple fireworks and balloons, along with a large picture of MGM's mascot, Leo the Lion, being shown. During construction, the Bonanza would still be open. However, due to Kerkorian having property issues with the other casino owner, Ernest Lieb, the entire building had to be divided into two separate properties, one side that was owned by Lieb and the other being owned by Kerkorian. To help build the casino resort, Kerkorian bought many employees who previously worked at several of Howard Hughes' resorts, along with popular architect and designer Martin Stern Jr. and the Associates of Beverly Hills, both who previously designed the International. Also planned for the resort would be a tennis court, a movie theater, multiple swimming pools, a 2,200-seat arena, and a big amount of entertainment and dining options, all holding in 43 acres in total. Construction was consistent and always on schedule, and multiple entertainers including Bob Hope and even showgirls were announced for their upcoming resort that would mix in with the 1,000 employees who would be working at the MGM Grand. In the beginning of 1973, the hotel tower was finally topped off, and the resort was ready to open. On September 23, 1973, popular actor and singer Fred MacMurray cut a long film strip acting as a cutting ribbon to officially declare the grand opening of the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino, costing $106 million to build. The grand opening ceremony included a VIP party where guests could get a tour of the entire resort, all situated in a 26-story hotel tower known as the Indigo Tower. The MGM Grand would later open to the public the day after the grand opening ceremony on December 24 and would go on to hold over 4,000 employees. Many celebrities had a big showing within the early days of the MGM Grand to showcase its live cast of popular people, even getting to the point where they even had the movie studio's mascot, Leo the Lion, an actual live lion, being showcased inside of the casino. The MGM Grand had a unique movie theme to it, with its interiors designed by Donald Schmidt, consisting of mahogany, plush, and crystals. Each door to a hotel room was imprinted with gold stars, as if showing its guests that they were the star of the show. A ton of golden brass was also shown throughout the interior. Guests would enter the casino through a rather largely detailed porte-cochere designed by Martin Stern that was considered a huge focal point for the resort, containing all sorts of lights and statues. During this time, many of Las Vegas's casinos attracted its visitors by displaying giant neon signs that were oftentimes larger than the property itself, but for the MGM Grand, the porte-cochere was their attractor. In fact, their own sign, also being designed by Stern and Adart, was just 3 reader boards stacked on top of each other with the letters MGM on the top. The logo the MGM Grand had was actually a more stylized but lesser known version of one that the movie studio had from 1966 to 1982. However, there was also another secondary logo that would go on to be used at all other MGM Grand casinos in the future. The casino, also being the largest in the world at the time, contained 1,000 slot machines, 19 poker tables, 94 blackjack tables, and way more, all situated in an environment that was completely decked out by marble statues and hundreds of chandeliers. To put on the top of the list of world's largest things inside of the casino, the MGM Grand also had the world's largest shopping area for a hotel called the Grand Arcade, containing over 75,000 square feet of shopping space and containing 24 shops. They also had a select variety of showrooms, including the 800-seat Ziegfeld Theater and the 1,200-seat Celebrity Room, where the MGM Grand would be showing its first major show, popular Rat Pack member Dean Martin. Along with that were a total of 5 restaurants: the Orleans Room, Caruso's Italian Restaurant, Barrymore's, Cafe Gigi, and the Deli. A 300-seat movie theater was also included inside the casino resort that would always be filming incredibly iconic and classic MGM-made movies such as The Wizard of Oz. Not only that, but there was even a 2,200-seat Jai Alai Fronton, a type of sport court located inside of the hotel, which was actually the first in the entire western area of the United States, along with a spa, tennis courts, and a daycare center for children. The MGM Grand was a huge success for Las Vegas, as it became one of the top leading resorts on the Las Vegas Strip, becoming known for its huge amount of entertainment and all-around classy look. This, combined with the ultra-luxurious restaurants and hotel rooms, would make the MGM Grand become one of the most iconic resorts during its time. In fact, it wouldn't actually take long for more entertainment to come to fruition within the MGM Grand. On the same year it opened, the Ziegfeld Theater inside the hotel and casino began playing Hallelujah Hollywood, a revue conceived by Don Arden that represented everything that Hollywood was all about, including 7,000 costumes and different celebrities, especially ones like Siegfried and Roy. It ran from 1973 all the way until 1980. Kerkorian saw the major success of the MGM Grand and would later begin to seek out other ways to improve not only the hotel and casino itself, but also wanted to make an opportunity to make it a sort of brand for the MGM movie company. With this, they began building a second MGM Grand in Reno, one that started construction in 1975 and eventually opened for business on May 3, 1978, providing some of the same entertainment options that the MGM Grand in Las Vegas would offer. Today, we know this property now as the Grand Sierra Resort since 2006. Since then, a huge amount of MGM Grand casinos have been opening, including ones in Detroit, Springfield, and even some in China. Over at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, plans were already being made for a potential expansion to the hotel and casino starting in November of 1980. Plans called for a new hotel tower located at a distance from the Indigo Tower, adding 782 guest rooms and suites. Another big plan for the MGM Grand would be the introduction of a new permanent revue that would replace Hallelujah Hollywood. It was to be called Jubilee and was set for a grand unveiling on December 20, 1980. However, a problem had occurred at the hotel and casino.
Fire in the deli. Get a fire in the deli. Fire Control Battalion 2, stand by for dispatch.
Bill.
We have a report of a fire in the building, in the deli of the MGM.
Good evening. At least 75 people have died today in a fire in the biggest hotel in Las Vegas. Another 300 were injured.
On November 21, 1980, during the morning, a freak electrical short located at the deli would very quickly set a large part of the MGM Grand ablaze, killing 14 people in just 90 seconds. 200 firefighters from the Clark County Fire Department, the Henderson Fire Department, the North Las Vegas Fire Department, and the Las Vegas Fire and Rescue were quick to deal with the ongoing disaster. However, by the time it was fully extinguished by 9:30, a total of 85 guests and employees had died from the tragedy, while more than 700 were injured. Many of the guests were trapped inside their hotel rooms, often having firefighters take them down from the hotel tower's windows using aircrafts taken from the Nellis Air Force Base. Roughly 1,000 occupants were saved by them, while the other 8,000 were forced to evacuate the casino area. The aftermath and damage caused by the fire was absolutely devastating. The entire casino area was completely destroyed, with many pieces of furniture, wall coverings, lights, and gambling equipment burned during the fire. Costing over $15 million to repair the damages, the MGM Grand Fire of 1980 became the third worst major hotel fire to ever happen in U.S. history. Much of the blame could be based on the MGM's fire security, or mainly lack thereof. The MGM Grand had a huge amount of failed plan reviews and construction codes enforced, along with various design flaws and violations that were found within the hotel and casino. A good portion of the plastics inside of the property had all sorts of chemicals like carbon monoxide and cyanide, which caused the fire to spread quicker. In order to fix the damages, the MGM Grand temporarily closed for several months. It would take up to 5 months for the damages to be repaired, and the casino lost a total of $1.5 million in revenue during its closure. There were also multiple lawsuits held from the MGM, which all reported over $2 billion in damages. The MGM Grand would open back up on July 29, 1981, with a completely new fire security system that would later help the rest of Las Vegas, including 30,000 new sprinklers that were spread out across the entire property. The air conditioning system was also heavily modified to prevent any sort of smoke from coming out of vents. Plastics that caused the fire to spread quicker were removed as well, and new exhaust fans were built to keep the fumes out of the casino. So many pieces of safety measures were built into the MGM Grand that some visitors even considered it to be one of the safest hotels in the world. The new measures would also help MGM go back into progress with the previously mentioned expansions. The casino area was expanded to be over 50,000 square feet, and a new 26-story hotel tower named the Jubilee Tower opened in late 1981, containing over 722 hotel rooms, bringing the MGM Grand's room count to 2,812. Along with that came a new $10 million show named Jubilee that would open inside the Ziegfeld Theater. Dean Martin would still be playing, just like how he has been ever since the hotel and casino opened, but this time within the celebrity room. Jubilee had become a huge sensation in Las Vegas, so much so that it would become one of the longest running shows in Las Vegas besides the Tropicana's Folies Bergère. Later on in 1985, an American company by the name of Bally Technologies had decided to buy out the MGM Grand for $550 million, along with the MGM Grand in Reno. Bally Technologies before this was well known for its pinball machines and slot machines, along with even owning the popular theme park brand Six Flags. This would be their first ever venture into the hotel and casino business, and with that, the era of the first MGM Grand had ended, as the property had been renamed to Bally's Grand.